ערב טוב לכולם, ברוכים הבאים. אני מאוד שמח לפתוח כאן ראיון נוסף בסדרת הראיונות שלי עם מנהיגים שמשפיעים את העולם. והערב אני מאוד 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 מתרגש לארח איתנו כאן את מרסי שיימוף. מרסי מחברת של מספר רבי המכר עולמיים, ביניהם מאושרים ללא סיבה שתורגם גם לעברית, אהבה ללא סיבה ומרק עוף לנפש לנשים ואימהות. היא מנהיגת שינוי עולמי באושר, בהצלחה ואהבה לא תנאי. הספרים שלה תורגמו ללמעלה מ-33 שפות בכל רחבי העולם, נמכרו בעשרות מיליוני עותקים. היא מוכרת לכם בוודאי גם מהסרט הסוד ומהספר הסוד, אז אני מאוד מאוד שמח לפתוח כאן את הראיון עם מרסי, ואתם גם מוזמנים לשלוח לנו את השאלות שלכם כאן לאורך הראיון הזה, ואנחנו כבר מתחילים. So, hi Marci.
Hi Eran, so great to be here with you.
Thank you. I'm really thrilled for this opportunity to have you here. Been interviewing many folks, and you know, we've mailed about this interview almost a year ago, and I'm so happy it's finally came to.
Me too.
So I want to give you the opportunity first, you know, to introduce yourself, you know, your own journey, and then we have so many things to talk about, you know, happiness, miracles. So let's start.
Okay, so you want to hear about my journey, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm the most unlikely person in the world to be here speaking about happiness and miracles and living this amazing life, because honestly, I was born unhappy. I say that I came out of the womb with existential angst. I was a really unhappy kid, and I had a great family, great circumstances, but I just had this sort of dark cloud around me. I felt this heaviness in my heart. And I was lucky in that I had a father who was the happiest person I've ever known in my life. He passed away a number of years ago, but at the age of 91. And every morning of his life, he woke up with a big smile on his face. And his motto was that any day that I'm breathing is a good day. And I remember one day I was about 19, and he and I were driving down the road together. And I asked him a simple question. I said, Dad, what's your best advice for life? And he thought about it, and he answered in 4 words. He said, honey, just be happy. And I remember throwing my arms up into the air and saying, Dad, that's easy for you to say. You were born that way. But I wasn't. What do I do? And he thought for a moment, and then he said 4 more words. He said, honey, I don't know. And that's when I realized some people are just born happy. I wasn't one of them. And that I needed to find out what it is I could do in my life to really be happy and, you know, find a way for me, for you, for anyone to be happier. And there's good news, Eran, and the good news is that science has cracked the happiness code. We actually know what it takes for people to be happier. And to me, that should be headline news. It's the thing that all people from all cultures throughout all time have ever wanted, is to be happy. And we know how to do it. So I learned what it was to, you know, what are the steps to being happy. I wrote a book about it. I've traveled the world speaking about it. And in more recent years, I found myself every morning waking up saying, my life is miraculous. My life is a miracle. Like things would just fall into place for me. I'd need something and that person and somebody would call me that day with whatever it was I needed. You know, miracles were starting to happen left and right for me. And I thought, man, I feel like I'm living in this place that I call the miracle zone. And so I started thinking, well, happiness has certain laws to it. You know, you can practice certain habits of happy people and you can be happy. I think it's the same thing for miracles. And that's what I've found. If you want to experience more miracles in your life, you just follow certain steps. And that's why I'm now teaching about living in the miracle zone and living a miraculous life. So from an unhappy childhood, unhappy from the get-go, to feeling like I'm living in the miracle zone, if it can happen for me, I know it can happen for anyone.
So we'll talk about the medical zone in a second. That sounds very,
sure.
very interesting. And I want to ask, so, you know, for people who are like you describe yourself, born unhappy, what can they actually do to become, happy? And if I follow your book title, Happy for No Reason, how can, what's the transformation, how it's done?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, let me explain the title Happy for No Reason. Because people wonder, well, does that mean you're just walking around 24/7 with a silly grin on your face and, you're in some denial? And that is not what I mean at all. Happy for no reason, I define as an inner state of peace and well-being that doesn't depend on your circumstances. Now, we all have circumstances in our life, some of which we like, some of which we don't like. But when you have this happy for no reason, inner sense of peace and happiness, then no matter what life's ups and downs bring you, you come forward with your own sense of all is well. And that's what we're really talking about. And here's what I found from the research. This is really interesting to me. I mean, to me, this kind of explained it all. And that was that we all have what's called a happiness set point. And it's like a thermostat setting. So no matter what happens to us, whether it's good or bad, we will tend to hover around that thermostat setting. So bad things happen, your thermostat setting will go down for a little bit, but it'll actually recover and go back to your main setting. Good things happen. You win the lottery, for example. Research has found that if you win the lottery, you will be happier for a few months. But then within about a year, you'll return to that original happiness set point. So the set point is the key to the whole thing. And here's how the set point is determined. It's 50% genetic. So you're born with it. It's your DNA. It's only 10% your circumstances, such a tiny piece of the pie. And yet that's what everybody's focusing all their life trying to fix. Let me get my life right in perfect order and then I'll be happy. It doesn't work. It's only 10%. The other 40% is your habits of thoughts and behavior. And that's what you can do the most about to change your happiness. And I'm going to take it a step further and say that in a field called epigenetics, a very fast growing field of science, epigenetics, they will say that that 50% that's genetic, the DNA, that also can be affected by changing your habits. So that means that 90% of your happiness set point is based on your habits. And I've found 21 main happiness habits that anyone can practice. We certainly don't have time to go through all 21 of them, but I'll give you a few of them while we're here today. And then we'll also talk about ways to be in the miracle zone because they're very much related. So how does that sound? Is that good?
Yeah, perfect. So just to add, so this set point, happiness set point, it's like a thermometer, right? Like a thermostat of, when the temperature goes up and then it takes you back down, and then so you, on average, you're on the same level of happiness. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Unless you do something consciously to change that thermostat setting. And that's what raising our happiness set point does, is we consciously raise our thermostat setting. And it's not, a lot of people will say, oh, well, just decide to be happy. If you could just decide to be happy and be happy, everyone would have done it. It's not that simple. There are things that we need to do with our minds to change our thought patterns and our neural pathways for sure. But there are also things that we need to do with our emotions, with our heart. If you're angry, if you're hang on to resentment, it's hard to be happy. If you don't live in gratitude, it's hard to be happy. There are things to do with our body. If you don't have enough serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin and endorphins, you can't be happy. Happiness is a biophysical state. So there are, and spiritually, people who are the happiest have some kind of spiritual connection. It's not necessarily a religious thing. It's a sense of feeling a oneness with the greater energy of the universe, whatever you might call that. There's also has to do with living your purpose in life. Are you living an inspired life? Are you doing what you're here on the planet to do? And then it also has to do with who you surround yourself with. Are you surrounded by a whole bunch of negative people? Because if so, that's going to drag you right down. So it's not just any one thing, and it's not just let me decide to be happy. So that's why there are these 21 habits. And as I say, I'm happy to go through a few of them. Shall we go through some of the simple ones?
Yeah, please do, yeah.
Oh, where to start? I want to start with okay. I'm going to start with one that I learned from a group called the Institute of Heart Math. And they are scientists. They're the world's leading researchers on our heart and happiness, how it affects our happiness. And they found some interesting things, and I'll give you a couple of them. 5 minutes of being angry can suppress your immune system for up to 6 hours. But 5 minutes of being happy or feeling love or ease can strengthen your immune system for 6 hours. So that's pretty dramatic, just 5 minutes. So I'm going to show you right now a 2-minute process, not 5 minutes, but a 2-minute process that I learned from them that will move you from the stress zone, which is where most of us live our lives, into what science calls the love zone or the love field. It's actually a physiological state that has different brain waves, heart rhythms, and biochemistry. So the love response is what a doctor from Harvard calls this. So it's 3 steps. I'm going to, Eran, I'm going to ask you to be my guinea pig. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So after we're done with this 2-minute process, I'm going to ask you if you feel any different.
Okay.
Okay, but I invite everybody who's watching this to please do this along with us. It is no fun to watch us do it. It won't do anything for your life, but try it along with us. Make your own life a little experiment here. So
okay, so maybe for the benefit of all, I will translate this exercise for them to Hebrew, okay?
Okay.
So I'll just give them a quick introduction of what he said. חברים, אנחנו הולכים לעשות עכשיו את התרגיל שמרסי כאן הציעה, ובעצם היא הולכת לתרגל את זה עליי, אבל אתם מוזמנים גם להצטרף, אז אני אתרגם לכם בעצם את השלבים של התרגיל, כל שלב. אוקיי.
Great. I so wish I could do that myself. I wish I spoke Hebrew, but I don't. Anyway, so the first step, now it works best if you close your eyes. So I'm going to be closing my eyes. Now, Eran, are you going to be translating as we go as well?
Yes.
Okay. So first thing is to just close your eyes.
Okay, שלב ראשון, לעצום עיניים.
First step is to take one hand and put it over your heart, the palm of your hand over your heart, either hand.
ולקחת את יד ימין שלכם ולשים אותה על הלב.
This simple act of putting your hand on your heart starts the flow of a chemical called oxytocin.
בעצם הפעולה הזאת של לשים את היד על הלב מפעילה כימיקל שנקרא אוקסיטוצין, אם אני מתרגם אותה נכון.
Oxytocin is known as the love hormone or bonding hormone because it's what we have more of when we feel connected with each other.
זה בעצם ההורמון של האהבה שגורם לנו להרגיש את החיבור לאחרים.
Just putting your hand on your heart creates more oxytocin in your body right now.
ובעצם רק הפעולה של לשים את היד על הלב מייצרת יותר מההורמון הזה בגוף שלנו עכשיו.
And the second step is to imagine that you're breathing in and out through your heart.
והשלב השני זה בעצם לדמיין שאנחנו נושמים לתוך הלב, זאת אומרת שהאוויר שאנחנו נושמים נכנס לתוך הלב.
So you're breathing into your heart, inhaling into your heart and exhaling out of your heart.
לדמיין שאנחנו נושמים לתוך הלב והחוצה ממנו.
You can either picture that or feel that, whichever is easier for you.
אתם יכולים או לדמיין את זה או פשוט להרגיש את זה, מה שיותר נוח לכם.
You may already notice some shifts either physically or emotionally.
אתם יכולים אולי להרגיש כבר אולי איזשהו שינוי או רגשי או אפילו פיזי.
And the third and final step is on each in-breath, imagine that you're breathing in love, ease, and compassion.
בשלב השלישי, בכל פעם שאתם בעצם נושמים פנימה, לוקחים אוויר פנימה לתוך הלב, תדמיינו שעם האוויר הזה נכנסת פנימה אהבה וחמלה והכלה.
Your out breaths are just normal, but each in-breath breathe in love, ease, and compassion.
לנשוף החוצה רגיל, אבל עם כל נשימה פנימה, לנשום פנימה אהבה וקלות וחמלה.
You can remember a time when you felt those, or you can just internally say the words.
אתם יכולים או להיזכר בתקופות או אירועים שהרגשתם את זה, או פשוט שתאמרו את המילים אהבה, קלות, חמלה, כשאתם נושמים פנימה.
And one last time, breathe in love, ease, and compassion.
בפעם האחרונה תנשמו פנימה אהבה, חמלה וקלות.
And when you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes.
ולאט לאט אתם יכולים לפתוח את העיניים.
And take a nice deep breath.
לקחו נשימה עמוקה פנימה.
And notice how you feel in your body right now.
ותתארו את ההרגשה שאתם מרגישים כרגע בגוף. אתם גם מוזמנים, מי שרוצה לשתף, לכתוב לנו בצד. So I'll tell you how I feel right now.
Okay. Now that was a little different because you had to translate along with doing it, so it's not quite the same test, but
yeah, I will sure try it after that without translating. I can tell you what I felt. I felt, not sure how to describe it, but I felt like I felt my heart like expanding. That was the feeling I sensed during that exercise.
Beautiful.
And I also felt like a warmth around the heart. Obviously, it's where I put my hand. So that's what my
Great. So, Eran, both of those are symptoms of being in the love response. So different people experience it differently, but very common is a warmth in the heart. Some people feel tingling in their hands and feet. Some people feel just more calm and grounded. Some people feel expanded like you did. All of those are symptoms of being in the love response. Now, here's the thing. Doing that once is just a nice experience. It's not going to change your life. But here's what will change your life. If you were to do that every day, maybe 2 or 3 times a day for the next 2 weeks, you would start to be more in the habit of living in the love response. So it would become more and more your default state. And that's how we create different happiness habits that raise our happiness set point. It's no more difficult than that. It's just about trying it out and doing it. So that doesn't take any extra time. You can actually do it with your eyes open. I do it when I'm standing in line at the grocery store or when I'm on the phone talking to somebody. Nobody has to even know that you're doing it. So I invite people to just try it out for the next couple weeks, 2 to 3 times a day, and just use your own life as an experiment and see if it makes a difference. Because all of these changes that we're looking for in our lives are a matter of making small changes in our daily habits.
Yeah, I want to translate just what you said, just to close.
Okay, good.
For them.
Good.
מה שמרסי סיפרה זה שהתרגיל הזה, אם כבר הרגשתם אותו, אז זה לא מספיק לעשות אותו רק פעם אחת. והיא המליצה לעשות אותו 2-3 לפחות במהלך היום. זה לא צריך לקחת יותר מדי זמן, זה לא צריך להיות משהו שהוא יותר מדי מורכב. אפשר לעשות את זה גם עם עיניים פתוחות. היא סיפרה שהיא עושה את זה בתור במכולת, בתור בקופה. ואפשר פשוט לנצל את הזמן שאנחנו גם ככה בשיחה בטלפון ולעשות את זה. I want to read to you some of the things that people here describe. So some say they felt more ease, fun and relaxation. People felt a smiley relaxation, if I translate it correctly. So that's what people here shared that they were feeling.
Wonderful. I'm so glad. I didn't realize we were live.
Oh, yeah, we are live.
Oh, okay. Good. Wonderful. So all of that, it's all of those things that you're describing are really shifts that over time will create a whole new way of approaching life, of experiencing life. You know, there's really two energies in life, and there's only two energies. There's the energy of contraction and the energy of expansion. And when we are feeling contracted in any way, physically or emotionally, we're actually living out of tune with life. When we're feeling expanded, we're living in tune with life. And so we always have our own little ability to see, how am I doing? Am I in tune or out of tune, just by expansion and contraction? And Eran, you even mentioned that you were feeling, you know, more expanded in your heart. It's a real feeling. I want to just do a fun little demonstration with everybody right now. Is that okay?
Sure.
And it shows you how hard it is to feel happy when you're contracted. So let's all get contracted. I'd like everybody to curl up into a little tight ball. Do you want to translate this too?
Sure. אז מה שמרצי בעצם אמרה, שהיא רוצה לעשות לנו עוד ניסוי כדי שנרגיש את האנרגיה ההופכית. מה זה אומר אנרגיה של התכווצות לעומת אנרגיה של התרחבות? אז מה שהיא מבקשת זה כרגע כולם נתכווץ רגע ככה כאילו פנימה כדי רגע לראות את ההרגשה. אוקיי.
Okay, so let's curl up into a little tight ball. And I'd like you to say, I feel happy. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I feel happy.
אוקיי, תנסו ככה להתכווץ ולומר במקביל, אני מרגיש מאושר, או אני מרגישה מאושרת. אוקיי?
Okay, so now sit up. Did you feel happy?
Not really.
No.
No.
It's hard to feel happy when you're tight, when you're contracted.
Right.
You want to translate that if you can.
אתם מבינים שאי אפשר להרגיש מאושרים כשאנחנו מכווצים, נכון?
Now the opposite is also true. It's hard to feel bad when you're expanded.
וגם ההפך הוא נכון, אתה לא יכול להרגיש מדוכא כשאתה פתוח.
So expand right now like that.
עכשיו תפתחו את הידיים, תתרחבו.
And on the count of 3, I want you to say, I feel depressed.
וכשאתם מתמתחים, תגידו, אני מרגיש מדוכא.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I feel depressed.
אני מרגיש מדוכא.
Okay. Did you feel depressed?
Not really.
No. It's hard to feel depressed when you're expanded. Now, does this mean that I want you to walk around like this all day long? No, they would lock you up. You're crazy. What it means is that we make our choices in life that go along, aligned with that feeling of expansion.
So what you're actually saying also is that our physical state also has a very is very impactful for our emotional state.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, very much so. They found that people whose mouths more naturally frown tend to be unhappier. When we smile, we're happier. Just smiling creates endorphins. I mean, you know, I want everybody who's listening to just smile a big smile right now. Notice how you feel. Now, that doesn't mean you want to walk around like that all the time. If it's, you know, I'm not talking about suppressing things, but yes, our physical bodies make a big difference. In fact, research has found that how happy you are today has more to do with the quality of sleep that you got last night than your marital status or your income level. Now that's shocking. My sleep matters more than my money or my, you know, relationships. My sleep, you know, so our physical bodies matter a lot. And I don't know if you want to translate any of that or not.
אני רק אומר שבעצם מה שהיא סיפרה על עוד מחקר שהראה שבעצם כמות השינה שלנו בלילה משפיעה על האושר של אנשים הרבה יותר מהמצב הכלכלי שלהם או מכל מיני דברים אחרים שקורים להם בחיים. אז תחשבו כמה אתם ישנים בלילה.
So simple habits make a big difference. Do you want me to share with you one other one?
Sure, please do.
I have so many that I'm trying to think of which one to share. I'm going to share one about the power of, people are always asking me if there's a fast track to greater happiness. And it's quite individual because different people have different things that they need to focus on. But if there was one overall fast track to happiness, I would say it's forgiveness. The biggest block that we have to experiencing happiness is holding on to anger or resentment. And it doesn't, the thing about anger and resentment is we think that it's going to hurt the other person and it only hurts us. There's an old saying that staying angry is like drinking poison and thinking that it's going to kill the other person. It doesn't. You're the one that's hurt by it. So forgiveness is a big deal. And there are lots of forgiveness practices out there. But I want to share with you the one that I use because it's simple and it's really almost miraculously powerful. And it's a simple practice called Ho'oponopono. Now, have you heard it? Say it again.
How it's called?
Yeah. It's a Hawaiian word that's very hard to pronounce. You never have to pronounce it, but it's called Ho'oponopono.
Oh, Ponopono, okay.
Oh, you did well with that. That's good.
Yeah, we have, I'm not sure I remember her name, but she came to Israel a couple of times to do some workshops. And also Joe Vitale's book on that was translated to Hebrew, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Vitale. Yeah, he's great about that. And possibly the woman who came is Mabel Katz.
Yeah, Mabel, right. That's all.
Yeah. So it's a simple process, and I'll just explain it right now for those of you who haven't heard of it. All you do is in your heart, not to the other person, but in your heart, you repeat these 4 phrases. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And it's not for the other person's sake. It's for your own sake. And I've learned a lot about it, and I still don't quite 100% understand why it's so powerful, but it is so powerful. And may I tell a quick story about how I've used it in my life?
Sure.
So a few years ago, I've used it many times, but the time that was the most important was about 5 years ago. My sister and I had gotten in an argument, and we weren't talking to each other. This had never happened in our family. And we went for about 5 months not talking to each other. And one day, our family had to get together to move our mom from our home to assisted living. And so we all met at her new apartment to unpack her things. And I was so nervous because I hadn't seen my sister in all that time. And I went in and hugged and kissed everybody hello except my sister. She and I didn't talk to each other. And it was so uncomfortable. You know how you can feel the tension in the air when people have been arguing? Everybody was like, oh, this is awful. And after a morning of this, I couldn't take it anymore. And I decided I'm going to go to the car and take a break. And on the way to the car, I remembered Ho'oponopono. So I sat in the car and I just felt towards my sister. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I also felt those towards myself because I'd been angry at myself. After about 5 minutes of this, a wave of love came over me. And I suddenly realized that my sister wasn't mad at me for what had happened 5 months earlier, but it was a lifetime of stuff. And I saw it for the first time from her perspective. And I felt so much love and compassion. So I went back in and I decided not to say anything to anybody. But within 3 minutes, my sister came over to me and took me by the hand and said, come on, let's go unpack Mom's closet together. That later at lunch, she was like so nice to me. She handed me her baked potato and said, you like these more than I do. I was so shocked. I pulled my brother aside. I said, what did you say to her while I was gone? And he said, nobody said anything. We have no idea what's just happened. Well, Eran, that was the beginning of an entirely new relationship that I now have with my sister. And it happened at such an important time because 9 months later, she and I were back in that same closet of our mother's, but this time we were packing up Mom's clothes because our mom had died very unexpectedly. And I can't imagine what that would have been like had we hung on to that anger. And I share that story because I know everyone listening has someone or something in their life that they need to forgive, even themselves. You know, we're the hardest on ourselves. So I invite you to try this out. You know, just don't take my word for it, but use your own life as an experiment and see what happens. I can't tell you how many people have come back to me after I've shared this with them and they've said, that was amazing. You know, I forgave my mother. The person doesn't even have to be alive. It doesn't even matter. It's not about the other person. It's about us shifting our energy. And I will tell you, when people have blocks in their relationships, the first thing I have them do is this forgiveness. And not just towards that person, but maybe towards someone earlier in their life. If someone has blocks in money, the first thing I will have them do is this forgiveness practice. So it's, to me, kind of an underlying key to a greater life.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
In fact, my guess is that some people who are listening right now have also had some experiences and maybe even some miraculous openings from using that.
Right. I can actually see on the side that some people are aware of that and are aware of mobile cuts as well.
Great.
So you mentioned earlier the miracle zone, and this kind of
Yes.
caught my ear. So tell us more about that.
So we all want to live a miraculous life. I believe it's our birthright. It's what we're here on the planet for. And we can't create miracles in our lives. Miracles, by definition, a miracle is a surprise or welcome event that can't be explained by science yet, and that has the energy of like divine grace around it. So we can't create miracles, but what we can do is we can create the conditions for more miracles to happen in our lives. We can create the conditions. We call it the miracle zone. Living in the miracle zone is where you're doing the things in your life that put you in the flow of miracles so that divine grace can find you and your miracles can find you. Because I believe our miracles are wanting us. We want our miracles. The universe is a friendly universe. It wants us to live a miraculous way. And, you could look out at the world and it sure doesn't seem that way. And I believe that we are really here to find the way to live in the miracle zone. And that when we do that, we are affecting all the people around us. We are helping create a more miraculous world. So I have a teaching partner, Deborah Poneman, and we've created the system for living in the miracle zone. And it's just been a remarkable experience. And, now I wrote the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And have those books been big in Israel, Chicken Soup for the Soul, a number of years ago?
I don't know how 50 of them or something, but some of them were, yeah.
Yeah. So in reading through, I wrote the Chicken Soup for the Women's Soul books. And in reading through those books, I would say that maybe 40% of the stories had to do with miracles. I read over 20,000 stories. So I know there are miracles happening every day all over the place. And it's just a matter of us putting ourselves in that stream. Can I tell one of my favorite miracle stories?
So I just want to quick question, just to maybe, to make sure that everyone gets it. So what you're saying basically on this miracle zone is like preparing yourself for miracles, right? So when they come, you're aware aware that you can, act on them, right?
Exactly. It's really a matter of, yes, of acting on them, of putting yourself in the right place for them. I have to tell this one story though, because it's so extreme. It's like the ultimate example of a miracle. And it was from one of the earlier Chicken Soup for the Soul books. Mm-hmm. So it was in one of my books. And it's called It Happened on a Brooklyn Subway, Brooklyn, New York. So the story takes place in 1948. And one day there was a man named Marcel Sternberger who would every day take the same train into his work in New York City. On this one particular day, he took a detour and went to visit a sick friend of his. And so he ended up on a different subway into New York, different train. And when he got on this other train, it was completely full. There was only one seat that he saw available. So we went over to that one seat and he sat down. And as he sat down, he noticed that the man sitting next to him was reading a Hungarian newspaper. Well, Marcel was originally from Hungary. So he started speaking with this man in Hungarian. And he found out that this man's name was Bela Paskin. And Bela had just arrived in the United States 3 months earlier and had an amazing story to tell. Bela had been through many atrocities during World War II, had been sent off to a Russian work camp, and had come home to his hometown in Hungary, only to find that his entire family, including his beloved wife, had been killed. And he was completely devastated, of course, decided to start a new life in America. And as I said, he had just arrived a few months earlier. I mean, he had just been, he had to walk 200 miles back to his hometown in Hungary to only discover that. And Marcel, upon hearing the story, thought, wow, that's weird. Just a couple of days earlier, he'd been at a dinner party of some friends, and he'd met a woman from Hungary who'd had a very similar story to tell. And he'd been so intrigued that he'd written down her name and her phone number and put it in his pocket. So he asked Bela, what was your wife's name? And Bela said, well, my wife, she's been dead for years, but her name was Maria. Marcel grabbed Bela and he said, we've got to get off at the next stop. And they jumped off the train at the next stop. They ran to a payphone. Marcel called the number of the woman on that piece of paper in his pocket and said, what was your husband's name? She said, well, my husband, he's been dead for years, but his name was Bela Paskin. And Marcel turned to Bela and said, take the phone and say hello to your wife. It's a miracle.
Amazing.
Now that is a miracle. I mean, like, wow. In all of New York, I mean, how does that happen?
Amazing.
So the universe is set up for us to have miracles. We can't explain how scientifically the odds of that happening are ridiculous, but we can put ourselves into the miracle zone. And one of the first steps to putting ourselves into the miracle zone is to feel worthy of it. Do you know that most people are unconsciously pushing away their miracles all the time? They're just, because we don't have enough sense of self-love or worthiness. We push away our good all the time. Let me ask you, everyone who's listening, let me ask you a few questions. If somebody gives you a compliment, do you have a hard time taking it in? Do you have a hard time accepting it? If someone gives you a gift, do you have a hard time accepting it? If someone gives you support or wants to do things for you, do you feel like you've got to do things back for them? All of these are ways in which we are blocking our own ability to receive because we don't feel somehow worthy enough or good enough for it. Well, if the universe is the same way, the universe may very well be trying to shower you right now with more and more miracles. But on some subconscious level, you're saying, oh no, I'm not good enough. Now, it's not conscious. We all want them. It has to do with our subconscious feelings of self-love, worthiness.
And I think it's also maybe part of it. It's like we're kind of programmed maybe to be skeptic about things and being suspicious about what people. Why does it we want to help me, right? Like what's his interest to help me? It's like, so I'm also doubting the intentions of others and so on. So what you're saying is that it starts with the little things, like, getting a compliment. You're talking about it, and I have in my mind people when I was complimenting them about something and said, no, it's nothing, and it just this picture of them in my mind is that like they are pushing it away.
Exactly. Exactly. You're totally right on. So it's what we found is that we need to really learn, we need to relearn things and, you know, create habits that allow us to be more open to the good that's out there in life.
So can you give us maybe you know what can maybe an exercise or something that can
Sure.
help us to live in that miracle zone?
Yes. So, you know, there are many different steps that we have. In fact, you know, we've created a whole year-long program for living in the miracle zone where we really address all of the different aspects of living in the miracle zone. And we address money and health and relationships and all these kinds of things, everything that matters in our lives. But one of the bases for it, as I said, is self-love. And self-love is different than self-esteem. Self-esteem is I like myself because. I like myself because I do a good job at work, or I like myself because I'm a good friend, or I like myself because I look a certain way. All of these are very conditional. What self-love is an unconditional feeling of being worthy no matter what. Even though you make mistakes, even though you're not perfect at this or that it's okay that you're compassionate with yourself and you have self-love. So one of the places to start is when we love somebody, we take good care of it, right? So you love your children, you take good care of them, you love your spouse, you take good care of them. Well, one of the signs to loving ourselves is to take care of ourselves. One of the ways to build up our own self-love is to build up self-care. So I'm going to give you a simple question that you can ask yourself 3 times a day. In fact, I have some people write a little note, they put it on their computer, and they just check it every 3 times a day. And the simple question is, what's the most loving thing I could do for myself right now? Simple question. What's the most loving thing I can do for myself right now? Sometimes your answer is going to be, I can take a drink of water. Sometimes your answer is going to be, I can call a friend and get some support. Sometimes your answer is going to be, I can go outside and get some fresh air. Sometimes your answer is going to be, I can stop talking to myself so negatively. Maybe I can focus on what it is that I'm grateful for right now. So the answer is going to be different every time you ask it. And it doesn't matter what your answer is. It matters that you're paying attention and doing something about it. That your attention is on this idea of what's the most loving thing I could do for myself, and then you respond. And it sounds so simple, but it's very profound, because what happens is when you start listening to what self-loving, what it is you can do to take care of yourself, and you do that for a few weeks, you're going to find you start feeling differently about yourself. You stop negating your own needs and desire. We are constantly going, oh no, I can't do that. I got to take care of everybody else first. I mean, when you take care of yourself, you take care of other people, just naturally. We overflow. When I know that the more and more, the happier I am, and the more I'm living in the miracle zone, the happier are the people around me, and the more they're able to live in the miracle zone, because it's contagious. Right. Our emotions are contagious. They've actually found that we affect people five people away from us. So the happier you are, it affects your husband, your neighbor's husband's cousin's mother, because of the power, the impact of the field that we generate around us. So we're talking about actually living in a field of happiness, miracles, self-love that other people can feel around us. I know it sounds, out there, esoteric, but it really isn't. They say that we become the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So that's another thing. Take a look at the 5 people that you hang out with.
Right.
Do you want to catch their emotions or not?
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I tell that, probably for the last 10 years, my whole environment changed because of that. I was really becoming very conscious about who are in my environment, and why are they in my environment, and attracting more people with the right energy to my environment, and pushing back people who are on like the wrong energy for my environment, and it does miracles.
It really does. You know, the way I like to look at it is that everything in life is like food that we're taking in. You know, we know that if we eat bad food, it has a bad effect on our bodies. Well, the people around us, the information, the movies we watch, the news everything around us affects us. It's like we're taking it in, we're digesting our life in every moment. Right. So look at what it is that you are taking into your life. And I'm glad you said that it's, you know, your own life has been a really big example of that.
So it sounds really, really interesting, you know, just a couple of examples and exercises you share with us. And I want you maybe to talk a bit about your Miracles program. You mentioned you have like this system or method that you're doing. What is it about?
Yes, so what we did is just like, you know, there's a saying that success leaves clues. You study the lives of successful people and you do what they do. Happiness, same thing, leaves clues. Miracles leave clues. So we found what are the things that people who have miracles showing up in their lives a lot, what are they doing differently than the rest of the world to live in this miracle zone? And so we created, Deborah and I created this program. It's called Your Year of Miracles. We've done it now for 2 years. It's from January to December, and we're just starting our 2016 Your Year of Miracles program. And we walk you through. Each month has a different theme, and it's a different theme on how you can create miracles. And so, you know, one month is creating miracles in your finances. Another month is creating miracles in your health. Another month is create miracles in your relationships. One month, in the very beginning of the program, we focus an entire month on this issue of worthiness and self-love and how to create that to open ourselves up. Actually, in January, what we do is we look at our vision. What is your vision for your life and your year? Creating your miraculous vision. And each person, we walk you through a process, and each person picks out 3 miracle intentions for the year. And that's what we work on manifesting. And each year we've now asked people, how have they done in creating the miracle intentions how satisfied are they in creating their miracle intentions? We've had a 94% success rate in creating the miracle intentions that people set in January. It's been unbelievable. I mean, people meeting their soulmates, people losing the weight they've always wanted to lose, people finding the dream job, people doubling their income. It's kind of shocking. You know, reuniting of families where there's been conflict. It's been quite miraculous. And we also, every month, not only do we do a session with you, you have your own miracles group, like your miracles support group that you meet with on the phone twice a month. And we give you specific things to go through with them. We also have a healer every month. So a miracles healer that works with the whole group to create, to help you remove the blocks to miracles in your life on that month's theme. And the biggest thing is that we create an energy field, that it's not just you on your own trying to live a miraculous life. It's very hard when we're alone trying to do anything. But when we are in this energy field of this group, and it doesn't matter, we've had over 3,000 people in the Year of Miracles program from 42 countries. And what we found is that there is this enormous sense of unity, this miracles family behind us, and people experience that they're being swept along on the energy of the miracles, you know, of the group. You know, there's this whole thing about geese. They fly in formation, and they can fly because they're flying together. They can fly 80% faster and farther because they're doing it together. And that's what we're creating in this Year of Miracles program, is this whole energetic system that you then become a part of to create the 3 miracles in your life that you most want to create.
It sounds amazing. And just make sure it's an online program so people from all around the world can join, right?
It's an online program. It is recorded so that we're live, and we do the program live, but it is recorded so that you can listen to the replays at any time that you want. We have coaching with it so that you're able to ask us directly specific questions that you want. And it's very, you know, what we like about a year is that your life will completely change. You will end this year feeling as though it's the life you've wanted. And so it is online, and it's quite simple and really fun and fabulous.
That sounds amazing. So I will just say that to all who are listening that with the recording of this interview, we'll also send you a link so you can check it out and to see if it's something you want to do. And you're starting right now, right, in January?
Starting in January, and we have discounted the price hugely for all of this. I don't know if you want me to mention the huge discount, or would they just go to the website to see?
You can say it, yeah.
So actually, when you look at all of the components that we have in the program is worth over $3,580. And, you know, we cared more about having a lot of people, having it be accessible to a lot of people. I mean, it's, you know, we know that's high for a lot of people, and we wanted the most people to be able to participate. So we actually made the price be something that anybody could afford and be part of. So it's less than $50 a month.
$50
and under $50 a month. It comes to a total of $598 for the year, less than $50 a month, so that you can really have, you know, my deepest desire is to have your life be living in the miracle zone, because that's how I believe we're going to do our best work at creating a better world. And so I invite you to join in with this amazing Miracles Zone and living to 2016 in the Miracle Zone.
Amazing. Great, Marci, that sounds really terrific. And, you know, I want really to thank you for this opportunity and for your time. From each interview, I take some bullet points for myself, and I certainly taking some here, and the exercises were great. So I want to really thank you for your time here. And
oh, thank you. Well, Eran, I want to thank you. I want to, and if I may, just tell you, I can feel you're such an open-hearted and present person. And I've really enjoyed getting to have this conversation with you. And I appreciate the good that you're doing by bringing all of these interviews out into the world. And if I may, I'd like to end on a quote that sums up why I care so much about this. It's a Chinese proverb, actually. And it goes like this. It says, "When there is light in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. When there is beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the house. When there is harmony in the house, there will be order in the nation. And when there is order in the nation, there will be peace in the world." And that is my prayer and my wish for every single one of us, that we feel that light in our own souls that is there. And that through that, we help bring more peace onto this planet of ours that certainly we know needs more peace. And I'm honored to be here with you. I don't think it's an accident that you are here listening to this right now. Whoever is here because your soul called you to be here to this. And it's because you know that light is in you, and that it's meant to come out even stronger and in more miraculous ways in your life. So all my blessings and all my love to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marci. It's been a blast. I appreciate that. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.